Okay, I think we are ready for another of our little trips down the Southwest Branch. And I'm surprised that we've gotten almost 2 miles down the branch. When you take a reading from Google Mapping from one point to another, we're going from Dead Man's Tunnel down to Huff Avenue. We have gone 1.92 miles. That's a good distance. In the previous little thing we did, number 13, we saw things to the north of Huff Avenue. And this one, we're going to see things to the south of Huff Avenue for the most part. There's a little bit that we'll see the railroad yard up just north of Huff. But for the most part, everything else is going to be south of Huff. And we'll even see the place where the circus used to set up when it came to town. The circus used to set up in South Greensburg. It was a big event for some of the local people, especially the kids. And now we're going to move to pictures. We are looking at this is one of Leroy Smeltzer's photos. Another thing we have to thank him for. We're looking here at South Greensburg, and I should mention this is just a detail from one of his photos. It's not the whole photo. What we can see here is Huff Avenue going across. This is Huff Avenue, and we have the Southwest Branch, obviously. This area over here is the Pennsylvania Railroad's little train yard, a railroad yard. It was once in South Greensburg. And big old Walworth there. This building here still sits there. It was once owned by Walworth and used as their cafeteria. Over here you can see what was the streetcar barn. And barely visible right here was the little train station called Huff Station. One of the first things we'll see will be Porcelier. It started out as Pittsburgh-American China and became known as Porcelier, and then in the 1950s it became Pittsburgh Plate Glass, PPG. And down here is a structure we'll see in probably the next little production, but that's that. Now this building is still there. The Westmoreland County Industrial Development Corporation has rehabbed this. This was the building that Porcelier used, and it's still used. And what you can see, Huff Avenue comes right up here. Now this is my version of what that building looked like about 1930. We're still looking at it from a similar angle. This is the Southwest Branch going across. This is Huff Avenue coming up. Huff Avenue goes right between this building that was once Porcelier and this building here, which was the powerhouse for Memphis Steel. Over on this corner you see the railroad station, Huff Station. This is what they were making at Porcelier. Some people watching this probably have some of these things at home. They were sold by Montgomery Ward and Sears, and people all over the country have this stuff. It's collectible. They started out making stuff in porcelain ceramic material. They put electrical fixtures in them, and eventually got to making coffee percolators and even toasters. This is when the place became PPG. That happened in the 50s and continued into the 90s. They were making replacement windshields for cars. Now here I go back to 1912. This is a 1912 map. This is Old Walworth. This is a streetcar and barn over here. And this is the place we talked about as Memphis Steel, Whit Humphreys, Brown Ketchum, Nolte Richards, etc. And over here you see a lot of open space. It was good space for a circus to set up, and that happened. Every now and then the circus came to town, and it was a big event, especially for the kids. You can see here they're using the little railroad yard. This in the background is Walworth, and the elephants are coming, over. A lady who used to live next to me in Greensburg remembered her father bringing them down to this very place when the circus was being set up, and being surprised how the elephants would help set up the big top. Now this is that very place again, and we see the circus, but in the background sometimes this is one of the tanks that's gone. Sinclair Refining had a place where they offloaded petroleum products and put in tanks and then delivered things out to gas stations. Over here in the background you see the place that was one time Walworth's cafeteria. It started out actually as a glass producing place, having nothing to do with Walworth. In the background here you see the little place that was, this was the railroad station called Huff Station. I think we're getting close to time. This shows us 1925 mapping. This is the power station of the steel company, Memphis Steel. Over here would be Walworth. You have Huff. This place started out as a glass producing place and only lasted about 3 years, and then eventually became property of Whit Humphreys, not Whit Humphreys, sorry, the place that became Walworth. Over here, Pittsburgh-American China, that only lasted a couple years and then was bought out by Porcelier. And I see we are about at time right now, and we're going to say so long, and say so long.